Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what the game gives me today. We have the Gladiator. Alright, we already did Gladiator, so let's re-roll that one. And we have the Artificer. This is a very special random run because we are this is number 20 in the current random series, and I'll spoil the results of the previous 19 in a second, so if you haven't watched those, then go check those out. We are on a 19 win streak. So if I win this one, that means 20 in a row. Let's see if the Artificer can get us there. What weapon we get here is going to be sort of interesting. The Artificer used to have a real problem if you rolled Screwdriver and Wrench, but they've actually changed it. So you get extra damage with tools now. We rolled Shredder, which I actually did for my previous Artificer random run. So I am going to re-roll that, just because we've already done Artificer Shredder as a random run. The game really wants to give me Shredder. Okay, we're going to try Wrench. So we are taking advantage of the new buff to Artificer. Sometimes I'm going to re-roll a weapon if it's one that we have already played in a random run with the same character. Okay. And also, this way we do get to try out the way that the Artificer works now, where you can actually use wrenches, because previously it was much more difficult. Just to remind you what the Artificer does, we get extra explosion damage and explosion size for every elemental damage we have, but we don't normally do damage with our weapon attacks because we have minus 100% damage. We do normal damage with tool-type weapons, though, including wrenches, and get half armor. The half armor is a brutal penalty. This doesn't look like it's that big a deal, but for the Abyss, this is a massive penalty, where armor is incredibly important. So playing around that is going to be quite difficult. I'm going to go ahead and grab a wrench here, and then re-roll. I don't think either of those are that important. We'll lock the landmines, and we'll roll. We'll pick up a wrench, and we'll roll again, and lock another wrench. This is great. Wrench is actually a really expensive weapon, so one of the struggles with wrench as a weapon is that you often can't get good weapon levels on it because it's hard to roll for it in the opening shops. But having found 3 and locked a 4th, we're in much better shape than you would expect to be a lot of the time. I'm trying to play mostly away from my turrets so that they kill stuff that we're not hitting. So you can see here we're making a little bit of extra money because we let the turrets do some kills, and then some of the materials that resulted from that we left on the ground, but we still made 45 on wave 2, which is pretty good. I'm going to take the melee damage here. Wrench does scale with melee damage, so buying melee damage is very helpful. And then we're going to roll here. Roll one more time. I'm looking for harvesting, and we'll pick that up. And then we're going to take a wrench. Even if I hadn't re-rolled, we wouldn't have been able to buy a second wrench, so we were okay to just re-roll there. Let's roll and hope we roll into another wrench, because like I said, locking another wrench is really important. It can be easier to find wrench than other weapons, because tool is such a small category, so managing to lock the wrenches is pretty nice there. When a category is small, you're more likely to find weapons from that category, because one of the ways that the game determines what weapons you have is you're more likely to roll weapons that are the specific one you're holding, and you're more likely to roll weapons with the same weapon tags. So tool, which is a very small tag, you are more likely to find an individual tool that you're looking for than almost any other weapon. Something like primitive, on the other hand, you might really struggle to find those weapons. I'll take the sharp bullet here. This will, of course, help out our turrets, so we're very happy to see that. And then let's go ahead and re-roll. And 8 harvesting, that's perfect. That brings us up to 20 harvesting. Do I want attack speed? I could also just take engineering. Attack speed is pretty useful for wrenches because they're a slow attacking weapon. I think I'm going to re-roll here and look for harvesting, though, because the attack speed is useful, but if we could get to 21 harvesting, that would be great. Unfortunately, I missed twice, so I'll just take the regen, but I'm still okay with where we're at. Elemental damage is still worth buying for this character to some extent, but given that we don't have explosive weapons other than our landmines, and if we happen to get a level 4 wrench, It's not as important for this version of the Artificer than other versions of the Artificer. So we're going to pass on the charcoal here. I'm going to roll because I really want to level up my wrenches, so we'll buy both of these. It is everyone's favorite time of the day, video games and scotch time. So just hanging out, playing the random run, having a good evening. Hope everyone else is similarly doing well. Trying to kill that lamprey. I saw the curse alien up there. I want to kill the tree, make my way over to the curse alien. Oh, there's a loot alien. I don't think we're going to have the damage to kill that before the end of the wave. It's very, very hard to kill these with wrenches because of the knockback. So, unfortunately, I kind of split my attention there in that wave. I shouldn't have chased the loot alien around because we didn't end up killing it, and it cost me some money from not killing other stuff. Very happy to take 8 harvesting, though. And then let's get some leveled up wrenches. We'll take the landmines as well, and then do a reroll. Buy a whistle. I'm going to reroll again. I really want to level my wrenches, so I want to lock while we still have guaranteed weapons in the shop, and then we'll take a lemonade. I'd say this run is going pretty well. Our economy is good. We have piercing shots, which is really nice for our turrets. We're not currently using the Artificer's unique abilities that much, but the landmines are getting some bonus damage, not currently bonus explosion size, but extra damage. And if we get to level 4 wrenches, then we will use those. I might prioritize getting at least one explosive turret earlier than I normally would on an engineering build, so that we can use the Artificer's actual power-ups. Otherwise, we're just kind of playing a bad engineering build with half the armor. Pretty good income for Wave 5 for the Abyss. Typically, you get like 150 on Wave 5, so the fact that we made 180, or almost 200 if you count the materials that were on the ground, is really good. I could take 2 engineering, I could take 5 luck. I think we can do better. I'm going to reroll here. I'm going to take 1 armor. Any armor we can get is so important because it's so hard to buy and so critical on this map that even at half value, we just need to buy armor when we can get it relatively efficiently. Although I'm still going to take 15 luck over the 1 armor here. Grab that coupon, and then I'm going to go to a level 3 wrench. Incendiary turrets are the best turret. The level 2 turret is actually the best turret, but you don't want too many of them because the damage from them doesn't stack. So having 3 incendiary turrets can really start to stack the damage up on top of itself and lower your overall damage output. Dynamite is interesting. We don't have... Normally on the Artificer, of course, you're building lots of explosion damage, but for this character, we only have the landmines, so we're going to pass on the dynamite here. Baby Elephant is notably terrible for the Artificer, because although our weapons do full damage because of the Artificer's 100% tool weapon bonus, we don't have that bonus for things like Baby Elephant, Alien Eyes, etc., so any non-weapon or explosion sources of damage for the Artificer are completely useless, and you should avoid them. Here, we're going to roll. We'll definitely take a Tyler. This is another construct that works very well, and we'll take a pencil. It's also Wave 5, so I'm going to roll again because I'd really like to lock a wrench. So spending 7 there to roll for that wrench. Basically, we bought a wrench for 40 materials, because 33 is the price, plus 7 that we re-rolled for it. And we would obviously spend 40 materials on a wrench, so we're pretty happy with that exchange. I would love to see some of the new items that boost construct attack speed. A pocket factory would also be incredible. More trees would be great to make an eventual pocket factory better. Oops. Also, not walking into every attack and dying would be ideal here. Gonna be really sad if we lose the 20 run streak on this run. So I'm trying a little harder than I have been for some of them not to die. I'm gonna take the armor here, and then we'll grab our incendiary turret and our landmines. And do I want Tyler or the pencil? I think just more constructs. Oh, I can get both. I didn't do the math correctly. So being able to buy both is great. a third landmines. Obviously, we want the compass. I think I will buy boiling water. This is a fairly efficient way to get elemental damage. We now have 3 landmines, so the explosion size actually does help. Especially if I get some construct attack speed later on. Not having all your constructs clustered the way that the engineer does is both an upside and a downside, right? It means that we're covering more of the map in damage, but it also means we're not focusing damage on individual enemies as easily. So we need to... The engineer can get away with having a slightly lower damage on its constructs than other engineering builds. As the Artificer, we need to make sure that our constructs are actually killing things, even if it's only one construct actually shooting at it. Trying to kill this loot alien. I was trying to punch it into the explosions and into the turrets, and I did manage to get it hit by the laser turret twice, which was what let me finish it off. Very happy to get coffee here. The attack speed is really helpful for wrenches, and then again, we're going to take some armor. Early enough that I'm still going to grab harvesting here. And let's go ahead and buy these items. Claw tree, I don't care about that much. I'm just going to reroll. Blindfold, yeah, I can build some dodge, so let's lock the blindfold. It's a pretty efficient way to buy dodge. Wheelbarrow, I will take. It does cost me half an armor, but obviously the economy boost is really nice. I am pretty worried about the elite, because my defensive stats are quite weak. As an engineering build, we are almost never going to be able to kill the first elite, because engineering build's single target damage is quite weak. So we need to be able to defend ourselves and just run away from it. For that reason, I need to find more HP and more regeneration. Right now, our healing is quite weak. Our defensive stats are bad because we're the Artificer, so we have low armor gain and just bad defensive stats overall. So I am pretty concerned about the elite fight that's coming up soon. Wrench is not a great weapon for the Artificer, just because there's no synergy with this character. But Wrench is an okay weapon, sort of, for anybody. Could take more explosion size off the elemental damage. I think I'm just going to take the attack speed, though. A little more attack speed is pretty helpful. We'll grab this, and then reroll. Definitely taking some melee damage for my wrenches. I will take the alien worm as well. That gets me to 5 regen and a little more HP. Same with the cake. It does reduce my consumable heal, but we already have the double lemonade, so our consumable heal is in decent shape. Whoops, walked into that enemy. I need to get used to how little damage my attacks are doing and how little healing we currently have. Right now, I'm playing a little too carelessly. Just need to pay a little bit more attention to my positioning because our damage is not that high, so we're just unable to kill enemies quickly. I will say that spawner just did my pet peeve and dropped no materials, even though we spent forever bonking it. I really wish that they would fix that so that enemies that drop multiple materials just drop fewer at later levels rather than having a chance of dropping 0, because it feels so bad to spend a long time hitting a high health enemy and get nothing from it. I'll take the move speed here, and then, yep, we'll take 1.5 armor. Wheat, this does cost me explosion size, but the harvesting and melee damage are useful, so I'm going to grab that. I will buy out the rest of this shop, and then we'll roll. We'll take a bag, lock a propeller hat. None of these are defensive stats, I'm noticing, but they're mostly too good to pass up on. We'll take a wrench and a lemonade, and then, yeah, I've got 3 good items locked, so let's just go to the next wave. I really need to roll for defensive stats. I just took a bunch of economy items, so in the next shop, we've got to find some healing, mostly. The lemonade does help. And the bonus luck that we're buying, given that we have a lot of consumable heal, is healing for us. So it's worth noting that buying things like Propeller Hat isn't totally useless for your healing. It does help keep you alive because it helps drop more consumables. We have high consumable healing, so we get a lot of healing value out of that. Our constructs are about to kill the blobfish, and that's going to make a lot of lampreys for us. Actually, it only made 2 lampreys. I thought it was supposed to make 4 from turrets. Normally, ranged attacks make 4 lampreys. Oops, I walked into every attack there, but we're okay. Bone dice, our actual percent damage doesn't matter that much. Our weapon attacks are no longer a real source of clear speed or damage for us, so I'm just going to recycle the bone dice. I could take move speed. I'm going to reroll here, though, I think, and try to get just anything that helps defend ourselves. Yep, we'll take some armor. We will buy all of these things and roll. Barnacle, of course, is great, so I should buy it. We'll take this, and now I'm going to roll one more time. Lock a Gentle Alien. Cute Monkey is a great way to heal. Not thrilled with where we're at going into this elite with 6 armor, 5 dodge, and only 5 regen. I've overinvested in offensive stats, I think, at this point, but we should be able to just survive. This isn't the worst elite to have to fight. It does chase us, but at least the first half of the fight against it, it should be relatively free to avoid its projectiles and just sort of run around. The second stage for this elite is a little harder. Trying to make sure I'm picking up these consumables and just sort of bonking enemies away. But the pattern of 3 shots that this elite fires, if you maintain your spacing away from it, should be relatively easy to dodge. So I would say that we got fairly lucky with what elite we rolled here. If it was one of the ones that charged at us or put us under more pressure to dodge, then this could have been a much harder wave. Given that I had very low defensive stats. I wanted to make my way through the center of the arena there so that we didn't leave, like, every material in the world on the ground. The Barnacle really coming in handy here. Do I take regen, luck, or dodge? I think I'm going to actually grab 12 dodge. If we start buying 12 dodge now, we can get to dodge cap pretty soon, and that will be a pretty big deal. Take the Gentle Alien and Cute Monkey. I'm going to pass on the alloy. I'll roll here. We'll definitely take a book. We'll take a muscly dude. Up to 47 max HP now, so a lot happier there. I'll grab a coupon and then roll. Level 3 wrench, a muscly dude. Would I mirror the little muscly dude? I'm not going to lock mirror if I don't want that, because the likelihood of us rolling into something that's worth mirroring when I have 2 items locked already is fairly low. So I think I don't want to mirror it. No, I probably do. I mean, the melee damage is fine. Increasing my wrench damage is not terrible. And the 5 max HP is a pretty big deal. That'll get us to 57. So I'm going to lock the mirror there. We'll buy the second muscly dude, and hopefully that works out well for us. Given how much of our our healing is coming from consumables, I would love if we got pickup radius. That would be very helpful for healing. Taking a sip of scotch there. For those wondering, because people always ask about this, I'm drinking Glenlivet, but a different Glenlivet than last time. Again, the on sale at the liquor store scotch. Or at least it was, a year ago when I bought it. I had a very kind person being like, you should be careful about how much scotch you're drinking. And I'm like, yeah, I drink 1 glass of scotch every, 2 months, or every 2 weeks or so. You just hear about it because I mentioned it on camera. I'm going to pick up the Rip and Tear, obviously incredible for the Artificer. Boosts our damage a lot. We're already buying melee damage, so that's a massive boost to this character. And then I'll take 8 melee damage, because that's going to help scale the Rip and Tear. Here I will buy the Wrench, and we'll go to a level 4 Wrench here, because this is an explosion type item. And now that we have Rip and Tear and an explosive turret, we can start buying elemental damage. I didn't really want to invest in that while it wasn't doing anything for the character, but now elemental damage is actually pretty good for us. Take the Tyler here. I'll take the Wrench. Oh, actually, maybe I should have gone to a level 3 Wrench rather than 3 level 2s. I will take the Dynamite, and then I will roll Banner and Lost Duck. Losing explosion size is pretty bad, so we actually have to pass on Lost Duck here, unfortunately, the downside of playing Artificer. And Banner, I think we're going to pass on as well. Taking a lot of hits there from those Lampreys, because a bunch of them spawned cursed. I need a little more attack speed. That will help keep me alive in those situations, because it'll make my Wrenches more able to knock enemies away from us. Knockback is sort of how this character stays alive, and Wrenches have pretty high inherent knockback, so we don't need to buy knockback, but we do need to attack frequently enough that we're actually pushing the enemies away before they hit us. One downside of engineering builds on the Abyss is, of course, that you don't really control where your damage is going, so you're going to very frequently kill the towers before you kill the Stargazers, and that will buff them, causing them to be much, much more dangerous, higher health, and so on, which higher health enemies are especially bad for engineering builds because we're so bad at single target damage. Take the baby gecko here, and then, yeah, we're going to keep leveling dodge. We've actually got 6 armor because we found a lot of armor. I actually don't know if Greek Fire works with Incendiary Turret. It works with Incendiary Turret works with most items that count for burning. So I'm going to buy this, and we'll see if the Elite just dies to the Greek Fire. If not, this still sets us up well if we get a Scared Sausage or something, but I'm very curious if this actually does work. I will also take the Tyler and the book. Saltwater, we're going to again have to pass on because I don't want to lower my elemental damage. I'll take the Alien Magic and the plant, though, and then we're going to go fight this Wave 14 Elite. I will say our healing is still quite bad, so... Okay, yeah, it is taking the Greek Fire damage, so that's kind of cool. If we can keep it on fire, we might actually be able to kill the boss now. I need to pull it over to where my incendiary turrets are. Unfortunately, they all spawned next to each other and in the same place, so they're not going to be very good at keeping the Elite on fire, and they're stacking their damage. So I don't think we're going to kill it just with the Greek Fire alone, especially because of the spawns that we got, spawn locations that we got for our incendiary turrets. But this will help in later levels if we are going to try to kill elites. Okay, I did get 2 lucky dodges there in a row. I actually really needed that. We wouldn't have died outright, but it would have put me at very low health if I hadn't gotten those 2 lucky dodges, because I stepped into the elite slashes twice in a row. Yeah, we'll take 27 luck. That's such a huge amount of luck. Plastic explosive, obviously, we're very happy with. I'll take plant and alien magic, and now suddenly our regen is much better. Wheelbarrow, so we would get ticks 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think we're going to pass on the wheelbarrow here. Our harvesting's already pretty good, and I think this build is weak enough that I actually really want to focus on things that help us kill stuff. I'll take the spicy sauce, though. This is an explosion weapon, or an explosive item, so it benefits from the Artificer's boosts to explosions. And then I will roll again and buy another book. Crystal, we're going to pass on. I will say we haven't seen anything that increases our construct attack speed. We haven't seen a Clockwork Wasp. We haven't seen improved tools. I guess those are the two. And those are super helpful. Clockwork Wasp is the item that really makes engineering builds work on the Abyss. So we're kind of muddling through without it, but even one Clockwork Wasp would be so much stronger than we are currently. Let's recycle that. I'll take the Goblet. It does reduce my HP regen, but it's still a lot of healing. And then I think I want the attack speed. I really want to boost my attack speed just a little bit so that we're pushing enemies away from us more. Take the spicy sauce and then roll. Med kit. This solves like all of our healing problems, so I'm just going to grab that for sure. Fertilizer won't tick enough before the end of the game. We'll take the wrench, and then I'm going to roll here, and I'll take coupon and tree. Tentacle, we don't have any crit chance, so it will never trigger. We also don't have pile of books to let our constructs critically hit, so we don't need to worry about the tentacle. That time I actually didn't have to kill the tower before killing the Stargazer. I just walked into it with my actual weapon attacks, which was a mistake, of course. Or if not a mistake necessarily, just a bad decision. Luckily, we can kind of just run away from the mini-bosses, and we do enough damage that we're going to kill it just with our constructs. Everyone get very excited in the comments because I said doo-doo. Didn't kill a lot of the curse aliens. One challenge with this character on Wave 16 is that a lot of curse aliens spawn, or with this setup, I guess. A lot of curse aliens spawn, but they all spawn on the very edges of the map, because that's where they spawn. Constructs don't. Your constructs have a minimum radius around the edge of the map in which they can't spawn, so they're going to spawn closer to the center and actually not kill the curse aliens a lot of the time. It can be pretty challenging. Take the max HP here, and then let's go ahead and upgrade our wrench. Take a spicy sauce, grab a mushroom, roll again. Think I'm going to try to get more explosive turrets, so I'm just going to get this wrench. It does mean no incendiary turret. Actually, I should have kept incendiary turrets, because I need them for the Greek fire on the elite. So, okay, good. We rolled into another one. We'll grab the bag and lock this wrench, and then we can use that to light the elite on fire, hopefully. I think for 30, we're not going to reroll. Because I would like to try to kill the elite. I don't know if we have enough damage, but it would be really fun if we could. And Greek Fire working with Incendiary Turret is just a cool synergy. This is kind of a weird run, so I think I'm making some suboptimal plays because I'm trying to figure out like what the best way to play the character is on the fly. We've ended up with some unusual item combinations, and also Artificer with Constructs is just a character with very strong anti-synergy. Like, Artificer doesn't really benefit from Construct stuff, and so we're basically just playing a character that's worse than a vanilla character in most circumstances. The explosion size does help with some of our high-level turrets, but other than that, we're mostly just worse, where we have lower armor and no real advantages. Let's take some dodge here, and then let's go ahead and get the incendiary turret, the spicy sauce. I will roll here. We'll take the Pocket Factory, and Sunken Bell, this could help clear a bunch of enemies. So I'm going to grab that. I'll take the Corrupted Shard. I'll lock the Dynamite as well. I kind of wanted the Sunken Bell because I think there's a decent chance... We've already rolled 2 of the easier elites to fight, so there's a decent chance we get a really difficult elite, like this one, because you don't get the same elite in the same run. So this elite is very tough for this character to fight, and for most characters to fight. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. Where did our incendiary turret spawn? It doesn't seem to be hitting the guy. I guess it's all the way over here, so... We just got a little unlucky with where the turret spawned, and I only had one. We're going to have to wait until later levels and try to use our Greek Fire on the bosses. So many projectiles, I'm having trouble dodging all of them. This is the hardest elite by far, I think. I honestly think that this elite needs a tuning pass because it's so much more difficult than all the other elites in the Abyss. Especially for a melee character. I'll take the incendiary turret here, and then we'll grab a dynamite. Cauldron we don't need. Bean Teacher, it's too late. I'm gonna roll past it. There's our old friend Spyglass, which we've talked about extensively lately. We're going to grab the wrench, and I am going to take another incendiary turret. Because we have the Greek Fire, I'd really like to try to kill the bosses. So we're going to try to do that with our triple incendiary turret, picking the Greek Fire on them. I think we still won't be able to. Again, I've mentioned this in some previous videos as well, but whether you can kill elites and bosses is mostly a function of your attack speed. Constructs give you sort of virtual attack speed, because there's a lot of them, but it's spread out across the entire map. So the actual damage that you're focusing on enemies at a given time is typically pretty low. And we also haven't increased our construct attack speed at all, because we haven't rolled into a Clockwork Wasp or improved tools or anything. The Pocket Factory will help. That does just add a bunch more damage to the field slowly over time. Which on a longer wave, like wave 20, can start to add up. We also didn't get like eye surgery to make the burning tick faster or anything like that. I'm obviously going to recycle the starfish. We don't want to increase the boss's damage. Very happy to take 12 dodge here. This gets us to a much more respectable dodge level. The pencil should be pretty good as well. Let's roll here. I could go to a laser turret, but I actually think the incendiary turret is better. So what I'm going to do is recycle and buy the incendiary turret. Normally you would never want 4 incendiary turrets. But specifically because we have Greek Fire, we can use it to kill the bosses, so we want to make sure that we're burning all the enemies at once. I could go to a level 3 laser turret, but I think we're going to pass on that. I could actually sell the level 3 wrench, buy the level 2 if I just want to max out incendiary turrets. But I do also need other damage, so I think we're going to not do that either. Take the pencil here. I'm going to roll. Wisdom... Our percent damage mostly doesn't matter. The exoskeleton obviously is great. Our percent damage mostly doesn't matter, so even over this longer run, I don't know if the wisdom will help that much. But it's probably worth buying just for the weapon damage on our weapons. Obviously, wisdom pays off much more over a long wave. And then the coffee is actually quite nice as well. Sadly, still no Clockwork Wasp, but I think we are reasonably well set up to try to kill the elites, so we're going to give that a shot. Alright, they did both spawn on incendiary turrets and are taking quite a lot of damage here. I'm going to go ahead and bonk them a few times. We actually don't need to focus that much damage on them early, but I do need to make sure that they're always in the incendiary turret. Because as I reduce their health, the Greek Fire does less damage. So it's not that important that I DPS them down early in the wave. But it is very important that I keep them near an incendiary turret at all times, if we want to kill them. These bosses also are a little harder to focus damage on than the bosses in Crash Zone, because they don't follow you as aggressively. The Crash Zone bosses both just follow you. Taking a few too many hits here. I think we're going to be just shy of killing them because I took those hits, so I couldn't focus damage on them. Also, of course, our damage is increasing over the wave because of wisdom, but decreasing because the Greek Fire damage, which is what's actually helping us kill the bosses, is based on their current HP. So it decreases over the wave. If they both stay here and spiral on top of this incendiary and explosive turret, though, we might get them. So that's one. And can we get the other? Come on. Yeah, get on the explosions. Nice. All right. Really fun that we were able to kill both of those. And this was a fun run. A little bit of on the weaker side in terms of the character weapon combo, but a really fun one. And we did get very good items. Taking a look at our items here, the sharp bullet was obviously awesome for our turrets. That was huge for our wave clear. Basically the best thing we could possibly have found. Landmines were great. 43k damage, a little lower than I expected actually, but still very good. Coupon saved us 616 materials between the three of them, and bag, only 315 on the bag, which is quite low. 9 level ups from the Barnacle is amazing, obviously. Tyler, only 30k damage, but that's not bad. And let's see, what else? Rip and Tear did 28k, again, quite low, lower than I was expecting to see. We didn't end up with any elemental damage because we got the plastic explosive, but we weren't really able to spend money on elemental damage for a lot of the run. So we didn't end up increasing the explosion size for Rip and Tear, which is what mostly scales the damage on that. So it didn't end up being that big a boost. Only 65k from the Greek Fire as well, so a lot of that damage just came from us hitting it and the base damage of the constructs. 11k from Spicy Sauce. Yeah, we really, we just had a fairly low damage run, but 111,000 from Incendiary Turrets. This does count the turrets from our wrenches as well, but that's still a huge amount of damage. All right, my friends, that is number 20. So we are on a 20-win streak in the Random series. There are 62 characters. I do not believe that I'm going to be able to get a 62-win streak with random weapons. We still haven't gotten any of the characters that are really, really brutal to play with random weapons. So I don't expect that we're going to get a full win streak. But hey, who knows? We're keeping the dream alive. As always, of course, if you have enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment or hit like or both. Helps me out with the algorithm. YouTube just loves it when you push buttons, so if you do that, it's the best way to help out content creators whose work you're enjoying. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.